I made a joke at the pool about a kid who looked like me, and she came over to my house at 7 a.m. to tell me she had loved me quietly for 15 years. My wife and I have a 5-year-old son. As we get closer to 40, most of our friends are couples with kids. Because of this, a lot of our get-togethers with friends now include getting together as a family, kids and all. This can mean both a lot of people and a lot of kids. I lived with one of these people, Emma fake name, in college. She's married and has her own kids. We sometimes hang out with her and her husband as a group, but not often by ourselves. Emma is often late too. All of this is important to the story. We worry that our son won't learn to share or get along with other kids because he is an only child. To keep this from happening, and even though I love spending time with him, I would sometimes push him to play with other kids when we were at the beach, pool, or public playground. So when I buy him a water gun, RC car, or something similar, most of the time I'd only buy 2 or 3. I would play with him on the field, and when another kid came over to play, I would just say, "Do you want to play with us? You can." Get the kids to play by giving him the remote, the gun, or something else. This works great a lot of the time, and I get along well with the parents in our neighborhood. This is also important. A few months or a year ago, my wife and I were going to take our kid to the pool. I put my big bag of pool toys away. Her husband isn't there, so she needs to plan something fun for the kids. My wife and I tell Emma that we're going to the neighborhood pool, and that she's welcome to come along. We're going to be there early though, so she can come along whenever she wants. At the pool, we get there pretty early and get a great spot right by the shallow end. Then I get some water guns and play world domination with my kids. Water guns are the only thing that can stop me from taking over the world. It's an entire thing. Baby loves it, and soon there will be another baby there. It's a kid from school where my son goes. He's with his mom. He's more than welcome to join us. We know the family, the mom and my wife get along well, and our kids play together a lot. My wife wants to go swimming, and the dad of the kids wants to go with her. She asks me if I can watch the kids. As the kids start shooting each other with water guns, I say sure, even though I'm just chilling by the pool, and sometimes have to say, oh no, my plans to rule the world are ruined, because that's what being a parent is sometimes like. She then comes back with her kids. She's thrilled to see me. I also give her kids toys. Everything is going well. Then a friend of my son comes up and asks for another toy. I say sure thing and give it to him. She says, oh my God, lovely. You look a lot like him. I laugh and say, okay, cool, but that's not my kid. To be fair, the kid does look a bit like me, which makes this pretty funny. When my wife and the kid's mom get back, this is the story I tell them. They also think it's funny. We all laugh in a nice way, but we don't think much of it. Now let's go back a few months. The last time I saw Emma was a while ago. We are having a great time with our friends at a get-together. We're almost done for the day when Emma and I are at the front door. She's getting her things together, and I'm making my second trip from the car with kids' toys, clothes, dirty dishes, Tupperware with leftovers I want, etc. When I hear Emma's husband call out, hey, please have my wife and child come over. Just make sure it's my kid and not just any kid who looks a bit like me. I think it's a funny throwback. He looks lost and a little angry. He has no idea what I'm talking about. Why would he call some kid? I'm not sure either, so I tell him the story about the pool. He's not amused. She also doesn't laugh. Now the whole thing feels a little strange. I say goodbye in an awkward way, then go get my wife and kid, and we leave. I texted Emma later that day to see if everything was okay. I do not hear back. After a few days I text her again. No answer. As much as I feel like I messed up, I'm not going to make her talk to me if she doesn't want to. I don't mess with things. In the worst case, I thought she was mad at me for making a joke that she thought was rude. I really didn't think this joke would have such a big effect. I went to see a friend a few days ago and she was there. No kids are allowed because it's an engagement party. I wasn't meant to go, but I changed my mind at the last minute. My wife was home with our child. Emma has a fit when she sees me. She didn't think she would. She only came because she thought I wasn't going to be here. At the same time, she takes the chance to tear me a new one. I'm called out in front of everyone. Her husband was very angry about my joke, which I first said with air quotes. From what she said and what I learned from our common friends later, she had said that someone else's child looked like the son of someone who wasn't his father. But that whole thing caused family problems in Emma's husband's family because that guy was cheating on her with his kid, and a lot of people got hurt. Emma's husband was very angry with her because he thought she would know better than to say that kids look like people again. This made things worse between them, especially since the husband apparently thought she told me that other family story, and that I was making fun of him for his family problems. He also thought that the story I told was just a cover for her, when I realized I messed up, which wasn't true. I had no idea that thing took place. He didn't believe Emma when she told him though. So they are now split up. She thinks I broke her marriage and calls me in a hole. As someone who doesn't like to argue, I'm very sorry. I tell her she should have told me if she didn't want me to tell the story. She tells me I'm not being honest. It's now a scene. I say sorry a million times more and quickly leave after congratulating the couple. After the party, I found out that this was something that anyone could talk about. Now the engaged pair is mad at me too. She is even more angry now that everyone knows about her drama. No one is friending or following me on anything. Some of my friends think I didn't know any better and that the joke was mild. Some of my friends say it was rude to talk badly about her. And I'm the one who's rude. I knew Emma's best friend from college, and she thinks I knew about what she did with her husband. Now I'm just putting on a show to get away with. Being mean. Some of my friends won't talk to me anymore after a few days. Some people think she's wrong to blame me and that the marriage was doomed from the start. That being said, I feel terrible about making the joke I would not have if I knew it would be so bad for me. I didn't mean to hurt Emma because I like her. I liked her husband too. Could it have been wrong for him to let the marriage fall apart over a stupid joke? On the other hand, I don't know much about his family problems or past, nor do I know much about his relationship with Emma, so I can't say for sure if he's wrong or overreacting. Everything just kind of stinks. But my wife kind of had my back. She found the joke very funny, and thinks that the fact that I'm ending their marriage makes it even funny. Because WTF? She also likes crazy Reddit stories, which is why she asked me to post this. That's good to know. Okay, AITA, leave comments where Up has answered, commenter 1. No, it sounds like she's being blamed for someone else's cheating, and her family has lied to her. I feel bad for her, to be honest. Oh, I see. I hadn't thought of that. It must be really hard for her to go through that. I'll try to talk to her again in a few days to make things right. Because she's a friend and it's clear she's having a hard time. I mean, I'm not really happy that she called me out at the party, but I don't know, I've known her for more than 15 years. Comment on that one too. Info. I'm interested to know if you tried to explain to the husband, since everyone in your group is supposed to be friends. What did he say when you did talk to him? I didn't. Oop. He and I were never really close like that, so I doubt he will. I liked him a lot. But he wasn't the nicest person, at least with me. Reader 3NTA, you gave Emma's husband a way out when he wanted one. You shouldn't have even said sorry because it wasn't your fault. Your joke was fine. But to be honest, it sounds like the people in your group love drama, so you might want to stay away from the people who sided with Emma. Person 4, no NTA at all. I also love how she freaks out about you, airs her bad laundry in public, and then blames you for everyone finding out about what she said. Update 1 October 19th, 2024. I'm updating you now because I haven't in the last few hours. Plenty. It turns out I left out an important piece of information when I wrote my post. I thought I was a normal person living a normal life. It turns out my name is Chaz and I'm a minor character in the worst Gossip Girl show ever written. I chose to send Emma one last message after posting yesterday, reading the replies, and giving it some thought. Some of you told me I shouldn't, and that those monkeys weren't really mine. Others helped me see that Emma was probably in a bad spot with her husband and his family, and was being gaslighted. Important, I already said that we're not as close as we used to be, but we used to be very close. For my first date with the woman who would become my wife, she helped me find a place and let me use her car. There were some really hard times in my life when she was a big part of my support system. I still cared about her and wanted to make things right, even after everything. This isn't true anymore. From my point of view, I thought we were good friends. But when she married her husband, we naturally stopped seeing each other. Then this thing happened out of the blue. From her point of view, it didn't look like this. How am I sure? Hold on tight, because this is completely crazy. After giving it some thought, I sent her a long text message last night before going to bed. I tell her that I'm sorry for the part one played in ending her marriage. I also know she's having a hard time. I understand if she doesn't want to talk to me anymore, but she is welcome to reach out to me whenever she wants to. The ball is in her court in that case. My wife is almost excited when I show her this. She tells me that this crap will definitely go bad, and that I should have given up. Just like many of you said. Emma comes to my house without telling me around 7 a.m. What the heck am I talking about? She says she needs to talk to me a lot. I tell my wife what's going on by calling her to the door. She sends me off with this woman, because she knows this is going to end badly, and it looks like she's up for it. It's my fault at this point. From my point of view, we were friends, but we became less close. From her point of view, she has been playing a strange game of 4D chess for the past 15 years. Or 2 different kinds of 4D chess. There's evidence that she liked me in college and was trying to be nice to get together with me. By being there for me when my dad died. She always gave me everything when I was having a hard time with being single because she thought I would get better at some point. You'd think that getting married would change that, and it did. but only a little. Not good. It looks like her husband knew how she felt, which is why he always kept me away. We never grew apart, and he told her very clearly not to meet up with me outside of big events. That day at the pool? That was her way of getting back at him for cheating on her while she was gone. He didn't like it when she hung out with me naked. He wasn't just mad about the joke. He was mad at me because I was having an affair with his wife and telling everyone about it. Doesn't make sense? I understand. Things are getting worse. What was that at the wedding? At least she didn't plan that. My friends who are getting married told me I wouldn't be able to make it. She asked and made sure of this. They told her I wouldn't be there, so she wasn't expecting to see me. But when I did, she decided to take advantage of it. The reason she wanted to make a big deal out of our breakup was so she could tell her husband and friends that I caught her by surprise. Had an affair? It looks like we had an affair. Oh, what's that marriage thing, you ask? I did too. Some people heard that she and I were having an affair, that it stopped, and that I was now following her around. He left her when he found out. People who were more likely to believe her just thought that was what happened and didn't want anything to do with me anymore. Then why did her husband really leave? Some of you did call it. He cheated on her a lot and wasn't a nice guy in general. It was all a lie. She used me to make it look like she cheated on him without telling me. That's why they got into a big fight after the joke at the party, which may have been offensive. He then left the house. I think the guy who did the thing with his family slept with his cousin's wife or something like that. After all of this crazy talk, she tells me that my message touched her deeply and that we can still be friends. Why did she rush to get there at 7 a.m.? My message helped her see that I am the only one who really cares about her and that everyone else is just pretending to care. I'm not the smartest person in the shed, but this sounds like some really sneaky crap to me. It makes me think of a lot of the times we've talked before, and they all seem the same to me. I don't like getting into fights. I was ready to admit that I messed up. Okay, maybe some of you were right. The joke was rude, and I'm a big jerk for making it because I thought he would get the call back if he knew the story. If not, tell him a funny story about his wife. I agree with everything you said, but this? No way. I was done. I tell her I'm done with her crap. I'm done with her. She can go back to her husband, leave her husband, or keep any friends she wants. Even though I'm able to accept a lot, she hadn't really talked to me in over 15 years. I was telling her everything about my life and how I felt, and I was shocked at how one way the conversation turned out to be. I don't think I knew her well enough. I could have had something to do with that too. It's possible that I didn't care about her feelings or signs because I was focused on myself. I'm not sure. What? Do you know? It doesn't matter to me right now. She told me a lot of lies. She lied to a lot of people. I don't care any longer. This friendship doesn't need any more work, in my opinion. The worst part? I just gave you this big update, and I'm not sure how much of it is true. It's possible that she told me the truth. We're still playing 4D chess, so she might have lied about everything. Who knows? I don't at all. Plus, I can't trust her, even if I could accept everything. That's the main reason why we're no longer friends. That's it. I probably won't be posting anything else because this was supposed to be a funny post but turned into a huge mess, and I'm just so tired and sad. I'm sorry if this wasn't easier to read or made more sense than my last post. I'm really tired now because of what just happened. Even though my wife has been very helpful, I'm sure there will come a time when I'll say I told you so. It's clear that there was no affair or stalking, and she knows that, as do most of my friends. I might also try to get in touch with some other people. I don't know, maybe they heard even worse things about me. But I'm done with this now. I'm going to try to forget about this crap by spending the rest of the weekend with my family. Thanks for reading and giving me help. Change 2. October 22nd, 2024. Some of you thought things were going to get really crazy. I should probably clear up a few things that were brought up in the comments before I give the update. To begin, I did not mean that we shared a room when I said we were roommates. After college, we shared a room with another friend. They each had their own room. Second, just to be clear, and I'll say more about this later, she only told her now ex-husband that she had been having an affair with me for a long time. Everyone else only found out about it after the fight at the engagement party. Third, there are already cameras and protection at my house. She never really got along with my dogs, so I don't think she's going to try anything. What if they were the first ones to know? Now for the real news. I'm sorry, but I don't have a recording of our talk. I do have a text message from later where she says she is making it up. My wife told me it might be best to let her lie more and get it written down, so I didn't block her. I just let her do it for a while, and when I got her to admit she made up the affair, I stopped replying. Getting more and more angry texts, but nothing yesterday. Should be the end of it. I almost replied to her mean things about my wife, but my wife laughed it off and told me that's just how angry losers are, and I shouldn't get into it any further. I didn't, though. There are also pictures from her husband where she talks about the affair she says she is having with me. You may ask, how do I get those? As I thought about how many lies she told me, I realized that almost everything I know about her husband, let's call him Dave, comes from other people. I got it from her, and at this point I think she might not be telling the truth. I texted him to meet up anyway, even though it was risky. We talked for a long time, and he could be lying again, but based on what he said, he never cheated on her, even though she often said that he did. The mistake she made with his family, that was not her fault? Yes, she thought his cousin's wife was getting too close to him, Dave, and started spreading the malicious lie that the child was his. As you might expect, this caused a lot of criticism. It was one of many things that made Dave want to leave. In that situation, the contact with me was the last straw. Now that I think about it, the mistake she made with me might not have been so simple after all. I believe she would have tried to start a fight if my wife or the kid's mom were not being so nice about it. Anyway, Dave is pushing for full custody, which could get very bad. I don't know much about divorce law, but I think he's in for a rough time. He has been with our group of friends for a long time and really likes a lot of them. He really doesn't want to leave, though. Fair enough having. Talk to him instead of Emma. I tend to agree. I have been wrong before, but he seems like a pretty good guy after a long conversation. I offered my support because, well, you can probably guess what it's like for Emma to get divorced from her husband after reading my posts. I fully understand why he's worried about it. So I helped as much as I could, and I probably will keep doing that. For my friends, I kind of did what you said, but I didn't send a group text. But I did tell most of my friends what happened in a few words and show them some good photos. Some people started talking about this. A lot of tea was spilled, and some people realized that a lot of the drama in our group over the years has been caused by confusion about Emma. Then came more tea. Wife is having a great time. Okay. Some of my friends were shocked because they didn't really hear Emma's story but knew this was a bunch of BS. Some people understood. Emma's best friend stopped me, so she didn't get anything. I think she wouldn't change her mind anyway, which is fine. I talked to a lot of people, and most of them thought we should stop talking to Emma. Dave owns her house in our neighborhood, and she has already moved out, so we shouldn't see her too much during the day. I don't want to make her look bad. I don't think she was laughing meanly as she tried to hurt people. That woman seems to be going through a lot of problems. I hope she finds peace and makes friends and relationships that will help her get through it all. She is mostly a good therapist, but this is no longer my show, and she is not my monkey. I hope she stays away from me all the time. When it comes to my wife, things get a little tricky. See, my wife told me that she and Dave have been having an affair the whole time. That's why we're getting a divorce. That last part is just a joke, of course. God, can you picture? Not at all. My wife is awesome, and has always been awesome. The problem seems to have been mostly solved, so she can now tease me about it like she was before. Plenty. I might need some time to get over this, but other than that, we're doing well, and things seem to have calmed down with my friends for the most part. However, I might want to rethink my relationships with some of the ones who were more likely to believe some pretty bad stuff about me. Also, yeah, that's all there is to it. I'm sorry there wasn't the crazy fight some of you may have thought there would be. I believe this issue has been resolved. Thank you all for reading and for your suggestions.